Brought to you by...
We have all heard the legend of the Headless Horseman, a story that terrified many young ones told to them in their beds, around a campfire, or among friends, for generations. Its influence has seeped into the hearts and minds of many, spreading through literature, tall tales, holiday festivities, and even the programming that we feed to our children. Hello friends, and welcome back to ETF. The Legend of Sleepy Hollow originates from Washington Irving's short story of the same name, first published in 1820. The story is set in the late 18th century in the Dutch settlement of Tarrytown, New York, and the secluded glen known as Sleepy Hollow. It centers around the tale of Ichabod Crane, a superstitious schoolteacher, and his encounter with the Headless Horseman, a ghostly figure said to be the spirit of a Hessian soldier who lost his head to a cannonball during the American Revolutionary War. Irving's story is a blend of European folklore, particularly ghost stories about headless horsemen, and the local legends of the Hudson Valley. The horseman embodies the fears and superstitions of the early American settlers, while also serving as a commentary on the tensions between old world traditions and the new American identity. However, I grew up with it in the form of a Disney cartoon, spoon-fed to me by television programming, and planting a seed of terror in my young mind.
Todd and Mr. Toad.
The Adventures of Ichabod Crane, part of the 1949 animated feature The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, is Disney's adaptation of Irving's classic tale. The short film has since become a Halloween favorite, showcasing Disney's mastery in blending humor, suspense, and gothic horror into a family-friendly package. The story is narrated by Bing Crosby, whose smooth voice guides the audience through the sleepy village of Sleepy Hollow, and introduces us to the curious character of Ichabod Crane. Ichabod is a lanky, superstitious schoolteacher who arrives in Sleepy Hollow and quickly becomes infatuated with Katrina Van Tassel, the beautiful daughter of a wealthy farmer. However, he faces competition from the town's burly prankster, Brom Bones. As Ichabod vies for Katrina's affections, the tale takes a darker turn when Brahms tells the chilling story of the Headless Horseman, a ghostly figure who is said to haunt the woods on Halloween night. The film's climax is an unforgettable chase sequence where Ichabod encounters the terrifying horseman. The animation in this short film is both whimsical and eerie, perfectly capturing the contrast between the quaint charm of Sleepy Hollow and the nightmarish world of the Headless Horseman. The character design is particularly striking. Ichabod's exaggerated, gangly features and Brahms' robust, confident demeanor highlight their opposing natures. The animation is fluid, and the use of shadow and light is absolutely masterful, especially during the climactic chase scene, which remains one of the most suspenseful sequences in Disney's animated history. Bing Crosby's narration and voice acting are a highlight of the film. His ability to shift between lighthearted humor and ominous forewarning adds depth to the story. Crosby also performs the film's musical numbers, which range from the jovial Katrina to the eerie Headless Horseman song. The music and sound design play a crucial role in setting the tone, especially during the final act, where the combination of haunting melodies and eerie sound effects heightens the tension. It's a story rich in psychological undertones, where visuals play a crucial role in expressing themes of fear, ambition, insecurity, and the human psyche. By examining the film through a psychological lens, we can uncover how the animation and storytelling techniques delve into the inner workings of its protagonists and the community around him. Ichabod Crane is portrayed as an outsider in Sleepy Hollow, both physically and psychologically. His exaggerated appearance with long limbs and nervous demeanor visually represents his insecurities and awkwardness in social settings. He is not just a schoolmaster. He embodies the archetype of the neurotic intellectual, whose intelligence masks a deep-seated fear of inadequacy. His ambitions, primarily his pursuit of wealth through marriage to Katrina Van Tassel, reveal his opportunistic side. However, this ambition is not driven by confidence, but by a desperate need to elevate his status and secure his fortune. A common defense mechanism for those who feel inherently unworthy. The film subtly critiques this ambition, as it is precisely this trait that leads Ichabod into the perilous situation with the horseman. Visually, his greed is portrayed through his obsessive glances at Katrina's inheritance, often accompanied by exaggerated, almost predatory expressions that signal his underlying motivations. The Headless Horseman in this Disney adaptation is not just a supernatural entity, but a manifestation of Ichabod's deepest fears and anxieties. His encounter with the horseman can be interpreted as a psychological confrontation within his own unconscious mind. Throughout the story, Ichabod is shown as highly superstitious, a trait that symbolizes his fear of the unknown and the uncontrollable aspects of life. The visuals during the chase scene are particularly telling. The deep shadows, distorted trees, and the ever-encroaching darkness represent Ichabod's descent into his own mind's recesses, where rational thought gives way to primal fear. The horseman, headless and thus faceless, becomes a symbol of the unknown, everything that Ichabod can't understand or control. This lack of face can also be seen as a reflection of Ichabod's own fear of losing his identity, his social standing, or even his life, which he perceives as being constantly under threat. Disney animators masterfully use lighting and color to convey the psychological states of the characters, particularly Ichabod. During the daytime scenes, the colors are warm and bright, reflecting the surface-level tranquility of Sleepy Hollow. However, as the story progresses toward the fateful night, the colors become muted and shadows grow deeper, signaling a shift from the conscious everyday world to the realm of the unconscious. The climax, set in the dark, shadowy woods, employs a different kind of lighting, where stark contrasts between light and dark create a sense of unease and highlight Ichabod's fear. The play of light and shadow on Ichabod's face during the chase scene visually communicates his terror, as his expressions are often half illuminated, suggesting his internal battle between rationality and fear. The reds and oranges of the horseman's fiery pumpkin head add to the nightmarish quality of the sequence, symbolizing the burning, inescapable nature of this fear. To another degree, in psychological terms, Brom Bones can be seen as Ichabod's shadow, a concept introduced by Carl Jung, representing the unconscious aspect of the personality that the conscious ego does not identify with. Brom is everything that Ichabod is not: strong, confident, and grounded. His physicality and bravado contrast sharply with Ichabod's intellectual but fragile persona. Brom's tale of the Headless Horseman is more than a prank. It acts as a psychological trigger that unleashes Ichabod's repressed fears. The story Brom tells is meant to intimidate, but it also serves to bring to the surface Ichabod's latent anxieties about his place in the world. The visual juxtaposition of Brom's robust, confident frame with Ichabod's frail, trembling form underscores the tension between these two sides of the psyche, the self-assured shadow and the fearful ego. Katrina Van Tassel, the object of Ichabod's affection, represents the anima in Jungian psychology, the idealized feminine aspect of the male psyche. She is more of a projection of Ichabod's desires than a fully realized character, embodied with wealth, status, and security that Ichabod craves. However, Katrina's nature and apparent indifference to Ichabod's affections challenge his perception of her as a perfect, submissive partner, further highlighting his insecurities. Visually, Katrina is always depicted in a flattering light, with soft colors and graceful movements, symbolizing her role as the unobtainable ideal. However, her frequent pairing with Brom Bones in various scenes serves as a visual reminder of Ichabod's inadequacies, as he struggles to reconcile his romantic aspirations with the reality of the situation. Though part of a packaged film, The Adventures of Ichabod Crane has left a lasting impression on audiences, and has become a staple of Halloween viewing. The Headless Horseman, in particular, has become an iconic figure in Disney's Rogues Gallery, and the chase scene is often cited as one of the scariest moments in Disney animation. The short film's blend of humor, romance, and horror makes it a unique entry into the Disney catalog, appealing to both children and adults. The Adventures of Ichabod Crane is a rich psychological text, using its visuals not just to tell a story, but to explore the inner world of its protagonist. Ichabod's journey through Sleepy Hollow is as much a journey through his own psyche, confronting fears, desires, and insecurities that ultimately consume him. The film's use of animation, color, and shadow enhances its exploration of themes like fear, ambition, and the power of suggestion, making it a timeless piece that resonates on a deeper psychological level. Well, friends, that's going to be all for now. Take my opinion for what it's worth, but more importantly, please formulate your own. Please revisit this one. It's well worth it. I put a link down below where you can get a copy of Ichabod and Mr. Toad for your collection. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like, subscribe for more content, and if you really want to support this channel, we do have a Patreon. Every little bit helps this channel grow and gets us closer to that ultimate goal of being able to do this full time. Until next time, stay safe, and as always, thanks for watching.